What is up everyone, another day, another build, and today I'm taking a look at the Hyper Mega Bazooka Launcher for the Hi-Nu Gundam. As usual, as you can tell from that black and white box, this is a premium Bandai only, or puree ban. So that means sometimes it can be a little hard to get your hands on, so you can get yours exactly where I got mine, which is from those fantastic people over at BUYEE. Link will be down there in the description. Now here we go. So jumping right on into the overview of absolutely everything we get inside of this box, and that of course is the Hyper Mega Bazooka Launcher itself, that power supply unit, 2 action bases, as well as a small sheet of sticker style decals. And before we actually take a look at all of this, let's take a quick look at the build. So when it comes to the build of this real grade bazooka launcher, this is like nothing I've ever built before. The main reason is, I don't think there's a weapon for a real grade that is this colossal. So the build in general does not feel as well like a real grade does. It's not a lot of small finicky detailed pieces, it's actually a lot of super large pieces. However, once they actually start coming together and they layer over each other, we use some of those nice shiny stickers, this eventually starts to look phenomenal, and I cannot wait to get this onto the Hi-Nu Gundam. So let's get that done. So before I actually get this attached onto the Hi-Nu Gundam, I will mention a couple of aspects about it, just in case you're like me and you mainly watch Gundam anime and don't really have much experience when it comes to these side stories, novels, mangas, or alternate universes. So this weapon of course is for using with the Hi-Nu Gundam. The Hi-Nu Gundam being an alternate version of the Nu Gundam. Nu Gundam is from CHAR'S COUNTERATTACK the movie, the Hi-Nu Gundam is from Mobile Suit Gundam Beltorchica's Children, which is a novel by Tomino himself. Now as to what the Hyper Mega Bazooka Launcher is, I'm going to go right to the Gundam Wiki for the answer to that. So what it says is, the Hi-Nu Gundam's most powerful weapon. It draws power from the Rakuten engine through an energy cable, and has enough power to destroy a battleship in one shot. It's mounted on the side of the Rakuten when not in use. According to the Beltorchica's Children manga, it's modified from the Rakuten's main gun. So there we go, it's basically a giant main gun from a battleship remodeled and repurposed for the Hi-Nu Gundam to wield. Now how cool is that? Let's get it attached. Okay, so before I can actually get that attached onto him, I do have a little bit of an issue. And that is, I don't have the holding hand handy, so I guess I'm gonna have to go searching. So that means we have to go into the dungeon. So yeah, my organization is really bad at the moment because of all the videos I've been doing this month, so, I don't remember where it is. Oh yeah, it's probably in there, actually. Okay. That was quick. Come on, get out of there. Come on. Here we go. Whoosh. Hopefully it's in here. Let's have a peek. Okay, so open up the little baggie of plastic crack TM. Reach on in, all we need is a right hand. Still attached onto the beam rifle. Need to get that off. Alright, now we're good to go. Just in case the question arises, because usually these kind of questions do, if you're wondering what this action base right here is from, it's not from the Master Grade Verka, which it looks like. This is the red version. This came with the Nu Gundam HWS. That's where we get the red variant of this. It is 100% exactly the same as the Master Grade Verka one, but we do get a little adapter in here to make sure that it will work with the Hi-Nu and the Nu Gundam, because they're the same. So no, you cannot use the kit with the Verka's base without that adapter, and I don't know if it's sold separately or comes with anything. Okay, so let's get this set up. First off, this action base that has been set up shorter with the 3mm peg up top, this is what we're going to be using. So, getting the Hi-Nu connected onto... Whoa. Second time, getting the Hi-Nu connected onto that. And as for attaching the power supply unit, that attaches down here. Or at least, that is the suggestion in the manual. The hand you use for attaching this is the standard rifle holding hand that we would have gotten in the Hi-Nu Gundam kit. Now this attaches on very simply. It's the usual one part connects on like so, and the other part sandwiches on over the handle. And this hand really just serves to show just how absolutely colossal this gun is. This is so cool. So in order to get this attached, you need to attach it onto the right-hand shoulder. Now, in the instructions, it does look like this is closed up because we do have a bit of an opening hatch gimmick up in the shoulder, so I'm going to close this up because that's what it looks like. It has to be like. Watch out for the V-fin that falls off easy. That's number 1 for this video. I don't know how many times it fell off in the last one. Quite a few. Then attach the wrist in first, and you can bring that articulated rear segment over the shoulder just like so. Now my main question with this particular kit was, can the real grade Hi-Nu Gundam support the mass of this massive cannon? And as to be expected, it cannot. But we do have another action base in here, so let's get it loaded up on that. So now we need to get this big old weapon up on an action base. So this is the other one we've included. It's got a cradle style top, and you just pop that on there like so. So the way this actually holds on is quite simple, but at the same time quite effective. So basically the prongers that usually hold the legs of your average Gundam put into one of these cradles fit either side of one of the strats that goes across the bottom of the launcher and between the pipes that are feeding from the rear end to the front end. So it just holds in absolutely perfectly between those. Simple, but very effective. So next up in here we do have a wire for attaching the power supply to the actual launcher itself, and I did notice inside of the instructions that this is being held in the hand by the Hi-Nu Gundam. That is a pretty cool effect and a pretty cool pose, so who am I to argue with that? Let's go with that. So that does mean once again reaching into the old Ziploc bag of plastic crack to get that standard holding hand. So lastly, now it's time to attach the wire. It pops in here like so. Looks like Hi-Nu will not be requiring its shield for this pose, so off with that. Time to work that on through the hand just like that. And then the other end of the wire just pops up into that just like so. So finally there's that Hyper Mega Bazooka Launcher attached. Now it's time to talk a little bit about the aesthetics. So like I mentioned already, of course this isn't traditional real grade quality. I suppose if it was, this thing would be ridiculous, absolutely layered to the max. But what we've got here is still absolutely phenomenal. It does look fantastic. We've got multiple shades of plastic. That is a nice pure white, followed by a light warm gray, and then that typical inner frame dark gray. We then have a lot of black for the barrel, front end, and some of the other detailing. The way those circular segments come through from the lower aspect is phenomenal. This sort of layering always gives gunpla such a really mechanical look while still being quite economical with the part usage. We've got an array of 4 cylinders on one side, a vent up front, and on the whole this just looks incredible. When it comes to the stickers that we have in here, we've got a very small little sheet. This is what it looks like with none of them taken off. And as for what we have, these are your generic sticker style decals, so these will definitely show up if you put it under any kind of light. If you just angle the light a certain way, you will always see the outline of these stickers. So your only real choice here if you want to avoid that is to either cut these out meticulously or invest in some water slides. Now I know there is some Hi-Nu water slides by Bandai coming out, or just came out actually, so I'm not sure if we get enough to cover the bazooka as well as the Hi-Nu itself. We have those traditional real grade silver stickers here and there on this particular kit, mainly on these little segments either side of the Hyper Mega Bazooka. Honestly though, this does look incredible, and this thing's finest aspect is the fact that it is absolutely massive. Get this up on a shelf, and even though this is, well, just a 1/44th scale kit, this you will notice from a mile away. There's a lot of kits with big old guns, and speaking of big old guns, I keep meaning to actually make a top 10 biggest gunpla guns video just like I did with the swords one, and if I do, this will definitely be ranking up near the top. Sure, we've got the Deep Striker with its big old gun, we've got the Perfect Grade Strike, or should I say Perfect Grade Perfect Strike with its even bigger gun, and there's a whole host of other kits that have very large guns, but this is probably one of the most, if not the most, impressive around. So just because it says Hi-Nu Gundam in the box doesn't necessarily mean you have to use it with the Hi-Nu Gundam. So I'm also going to try it out with the regular Nu Gundam for the main reason that the hands are exactly the same on both model kits. So let's get this off of this and onto this. Luckily, for whatever reason, I've never taken the backpack adapter off of the Nu Gundam here. So he's been on my shelf for, I don't know how long it's been out, 2 years, 3 years? With that just rocking around back. Anyway, let's try to remove this while still maintaining the hand on there. Instead of actually disassembling New Gundam's hand and using that hand, let's just go with the hand right off of the Hi-Nu Gundam. I'm going to use the same stands as well, mainly because I'm not going to use this action base on the shelf when the Hi-Nu Gundam ends up there permanently. I'm still going to use that cool red one. Whoop, lost a funnel. Anyway, off with that, and you wait over here. Okay, first off, getting Hi-Nu Gundam onto that base. I'm actually going to try and keep him in the exact same pose too, just to make life easier. Okay, so getting that bazooka hand attached. There we go. Up onto the shoulder. It's a little short, but it can close up a bit. Yeah, it can close up. Okay, getting that action base involved once again. Hoisting that up. Oh, hand fell off. Anyway, okay, this on. Try again. So yeah, this segment round back that does hook onto the shoulder does have some articulation like you're seeing right now. That does mean it can bite down onto the New Gundam's shoulder to hold it in place. This attaches on fine. Once you get the arm lined up and the action base in underneath there, this all holds together perfectly. I'm not going to add another hand for the New Gundam to hold onto the wire, so I'll just move it up into the hand like so, and I'm going to stick that wing on because, well, the New is looking a little bare on its left-hand side, so there it is all together with the bazooka, and this works really well. I know we're kind of mixing up alternate universes here a little bit, but sometimes that is a bit of fun. So yeah, in case you are deciding whether or not you want this particular bazooka for using with some kind of custom New or for, well, with any 1/44th scale kit, there's an example of what it looks like with a kit that is not the Hi-Nu. So anyway, that right there is it for the review of the real grade Hyper Mega Bazooka Launcher for using with the Hi-Nu Gundam. Now I will mention right off the bat, because this is not just a regular Gundam model kit, I'm not going to be tier ranking this particular kit, but I will say it's of very high quality, is awesome, and the perfect extra DLC accessory for using with your real grade Hi-Nu Gundam. It's big, adds so much shelf presence, and is really over the top. Honestly, as far as extras that have been released by Premium Bandai, this probably is up there near the top as one of the all-time coolest. It looks great, it's big, but at the same time it's quite simple. They've made it nice and hollow and lightweight, so it won't end up tipping or falling over on you. This looks absolutely awesome. Put this up on any shelf and it will stand out. Even if you've got perfect grades, master grades, or whatever, this is still going to stand out due to its sheer mass with the Hi-Nu Gundam. Now, if you've got a high grade or real grade collection, this will definitely look monolithic beside all of those kits. Anyway, as always, if you do want one of your own, I'll throw a link down there in the description. I got mine through BUYEE, you can too. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to come back for more Gunpla reviews, and I'll see you next time. Once again, I cannot finish this video right here without thanking those who support me here on the channel as members and over on Patreon, including Craig Jerry, Caleb Engelhardt, Van Fawn, Global Frequency Studios, Lauren Seahack, Joseph Kukluk, Mr. Winter, Forsetti, Joe, RG 59061, and Gunpla UK Limited.